Okay, good morning, everyone. We're at the appointed hour. If everybody will take their seats, please. Good morning, all, and welcome to our Peel Police Services Board public agenda for Friday, May 25th. And I'd like to begin with our land acknowledgement. We want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather, in which the region of Peel operates, is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. For thousands of years, Indigenous people inhabited and cared for this land and continue to do so today. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of the Anishinaabe, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewas people, the land that is home to the Métis, and most recently, the territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are direct descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We are grateful to have this opportunity to work on this land and by doing so, give our respects to its first inhabitants. With that, a roll call, our members are present except Mayor Brown and Councillor Mahoney, correct? Thank you. So we certainly have quorum. Do I have any declaration of conflict of interest from any of my colleagues? Seeing none. Chief, over to you for your chief's update.
Thank you, sir. And I think before we begin, I think we'd be remiss to not speak about yesterday's incident at Pearson and just acknowledge the fact that our people, thankfully, I have President Woolley here, he and I have been in constant contact, as I have been with you over the last 24, 48 hours, relating to the care and welfare of our people involved. And all I can say to you is that on a day-to-day basis, they do a remarkable job serving this community. You know, can only tell you how, on an individual basis, all the officers are outstanding individuals. And, you know, you just need to know they've got our organization's full support, as I know they have yours, and as the president has done the same thing too. So just want to acknowledge it as a significant impact, not only internet, it's a local incident, but it had international ripple effects. So the decision to stand out front and be very public about the nature of it is not a common one for SIU related investigations, but was, I think you, as you know, was necessary yesterday. So, we do have a couple of updates, and I'm going to start with Deputy Milinovich.
Thank you, Chief. And through the chair, it will come as no surprise to the board or the community watching this that our police service continues the work on organized auto theft. And we thought it appropriate, given some of the momentum that collectively we have created in addressing that issue, that we share a video news release update that we provided this week on the topic. I think it'll provide the community with some reassurance that not just the board, the police service, but really all the stakeholders collectively have created some momentum, and we are moving the dial. Again, that's not to suggest that the work is done, but certainly I think it's important that we report back to the public for the investment that we have made.
Yeah, so you're gonna, I think.
Several years ago, our community began to suffer increasing rates of organized auto theft. This was not unique to Peel and was a trend that saw communities across our country being targeted for their vehicles by organized crime networks. Those criminal groups would recruit people to come to our communities and steal vehicles and then export them out of our country. This was a low-risk, high-reward criminal activity, which at its peak surged to over $1 billion a year. It was and is unacceptable to our community and our police service. In response, our police service, in partnership with our Police Services Board, were among the first to react, holding the very first Auto Theft Summit at the start of 2023. This summit was a platform for law enforcement and police service boards, government officials, and industry partners to tackle this issue by identifying the vulnerabilities contributing to the crisis. It resulted in a number of recommendations and commitments to make organized auto theft a more difficult and risky activity for crime groups to participate in. Since that time, we have continued with that work. Our Commercial Auto Crime Bureau has more than doubled in size and is now one of the largest in the country. We have worked with all levels of government, car manufacturers, and industry leaders to advocate for solutions on behalf of our community and create awareness towards this concern. This work is paying off. In 2024, we saw an overall decrease of 16% in auto thefts comparative to 2023. So far this year, we have seen a 45% reduction in auto thefts compared to the same period the year prior. That represents $60 million in reduction. We have arrested more people, completed more projects, and participated in more joint forces operations than we ever have. So far in 2025, we have recovered over $26 million in stolen vehicles, and that's done through investigations, interdiction, and repatriation of vehicles from other countries. Between January 1st and April 12th of this year, the Peel Regional Police laid 479 auto theft-related charges against 257 individuals. Since 2023, a total of over 1,100 auto theft-related charges have been laid against 543 individuals, demonstrating the consistency of our efforts year over year in targeting the groups responsible for organized auto theft. Today, we are pleased to share these combined efforts have made an impact, and we've made significant steps forward towards addressing this threat. This level of progress would not have been possible without the support of our Police Services Board and the women and men that make up our organization. While we are very thankful and proud of the work that we have accomplished, we are committed to continuing the fight against organized auto theft.
Chair, before we move on to the next updates, I just want to acknowledge the efforts from Deputy Milinovich, his team, and the board to put the right information out there. There's a lot of misinformation being generated locally these days that actually, I don't want to say it, I guess I can say it, they insult the work of our members that do a remarkable job, whether it be gun seizures, auto theft, bail, violent offenders. We do a remarkable job here in Peel. And so thanks, Nick, for finding a way to get the message out appropriately.
Chief, on that subject, before you go on to another one, I may have comments from the board. Mr. Boughton, please.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I'll apologize first for my response when I first saw the video earlier this week, and I had suggested that we might want to use some or put forward some more statistical information relating to, of those 543 individuals that we've arrested and charged, how many of them have we arrested and charged and arrested and charged and over and over and over again on the arrest and release program that we seem to have in this province, because I don't think that we're generating new thieves every day. My guess would be that it's the same ones, the same groups who may be recruiting some other people. And I think that the work that PRP has done has been remarkable. You're doing a great job, and the numbers speak for themselves. However, the other numbers that the public should know was how many of these men and women involved in it are repeat offenders that we continue to arrest and release and arrest again. So I think that would be useful for the public to understand that. And again, Deputy Milinovich and Chief and the whole team, great job.
Yes, please. And thank you. Through the chair, Mr. Boughton, you're absolutely correct. When we look at some of the statistics specific to auto theft or the reality of many crimes that we investigate and our priorities for our community, bail and repeat high-risk offenders are absolutely an issue. And it's one that we continue to advocate as a police service, and as you well know, as a police service board, and really as a community. And so I suppose what I take from that is your comments are very well positioned, specific to this issue, but it's also a demonstration of what's possible when we collectively identify a problem and a gap. In this case, it was auto theft, and we've moved the dial. We continue to work on the issue of bail and the high-risk repeat offenders that are constantly being released. And we're going to continue to share that information as well for our community to join us in moving the needle there as well.
Thank you. I also have Mayor Brown on our list, and I was remiss. Mayor Brown is here virtually, and he was here from the beginning, but he got sort of lost in technology at my end as I was announcing the roll call. So, Mayor, you've been here from the outset. You have a question. Please proceed, Mayor Brown.
Yes, thank you, Chair Nika. I just want to say, outstanding work by Peel Police on auto thefts, and I think the video speaks to the success locally, but it doesn't really paint the picture that Peel Region led the country on this. That other police forces have leaned on PRP to see how we've sort of dismantled the issue. The scanners have made a difference that we got from the federal government, and that was something that we identified. I think a lot of the conversations happening on a national level really began in Peel. And so to Deputy Chief Manilovich and Chief Nish, I just want to say outstanding work. You've gone above and beyond. And I think everything that's in our control, we've hit it out of the park. Obviously, we still need more work with CBSA and additional scanning capacity. I know the Port of Montreal is still a sore point. The catch and release nature of property crimes is still a sore point. But I guess my question to Chief Nish or to Deputy Chief Milovich would just be, are we making any progress with additional scanning at the Port of Montreal? And are we starting to see any trends of cars that are being stolen going to the port in a different manner than the rail lines?
Thank you for that question. And again, through the chair, I believe we are making some progress at our ports and at our borders. We are seeing fewer vehicles being stolen and fewer vehicles being exported. But again, when we talk about the numbers, and like the numbers of stolen cars have plummeted 45%. But it still leaves a large percentage of cars and really people that we need to focus on. This is why the work isn't done. Do I believe that we are doing as much as we can in those areas of vulnerability? No, not yet. And I think it's something that we continue and are going to need to continue to address. Organized crime and criminal networks, they don't close up shop, hang a sign and say we're done and business is over. So as quickly as we respond, they're looking for new vulnerabilities, new gaps, and I think it's our responsibility to stay on top of that and try to meet them there and close those windows for them.
Thank you. Mr. Carby.
Thank you, Chair. Much has been said about the auto theft initiative, and I certainly add my commendation to the approach of communicating more with the community about the initiatives which are addressing that issue. To the first incident of what happened yesterday, the first item on your report. Often when these, situations happen and the SIU invokes its authority, there's a silence, of course, that is understandable from PRP around what is said. In this particular incident, because of course, it's international impact, it's at an airport, and so there's a lot of interest in it. The decision was taken to get out in front of the camera and actually speak to the community about it. I just want to commend the process and getting out in front of communicating that way, because it speaks to the whole idea of transparency and involving the community in what's going on, because when there is a vacuum, misinformation tends to fill that space. So I would hope to see hopefully more opportunities like those when major incidents that affect our community. Yes, Chief, we might be asking you to get in front of the camera some more, but I think it does speak to building confidence as we speak to the community about major incidents. And I know there are restrictions around what we can say when the SIU invokes its authority, but I think the community is eager to hear from the service around how are you addressing or what the issue is involved and how it impacts community. So kudos to you for taking the initiative and doing that, and I hope to see more of those on a going forward.
Len, if I could, on behalf of the board, it's a very constant issue, isn't it, that incidents occur and the sort of the general public, well, why aren't you speaking to it right now? And so much of this is prescribed, formatted, it is ongoing, and we have to respect the process. So you might want to extend condolences. You want to reach out and see how stuff. You're not in a position to do that because what you're told is, are you admitted to something? Do you know something we don't know, et cetera? There may be information that would be useful to put in the public realm, but even then you have to trust the judgment of the chief and the senior team to follow what is prescribed and lawful, because invariably other processes are ongoing and will be pursued. And so we have to respect that. But it's, especially for me, it's hard to hold my tongue at times like this, but it's the right thing to do because we have to respect the process and everybody's best wishes and their well-being, if you will. So with that, Chief, anything further to you? Because I've got President Woolley's here, President of the Peel Police Association. Adrian wanted to speak to the car theft matter. That's still before me. Adrian, why don't you come forward now, and we will take you as a formal deputant with regards to the matter that the chief, and then Chief, I'll come back to you. Adrian, welcome.
Good morning. Totally off the top of my head. I didn't plan on speaking today, but when I saw the presentation on auto theft, I really wanted to jump on how important it is that we get the message out there that Peel Police is not only leading the charge, provincially, but also nationally and even internationally. We are known as leaders and trying to make a difference in a massive dent in the criminal organization world. And I really have to thank Greg O'Connor. He's obviously the detective in charge of the auto theft crime, and he has a phenomenal team that they work with. And just seeing the numbers there and making sure, I know we talked about misinformation and disinformation, and maybe if we could get this down to Mayor Parrish so that she could understand the great work that's being done day in, day out in her city, not just Mississauga or not just Brampton, so that she won't be another one of those people that is spreading mis or disinformation. I think it's very disingenuous for her to be a former police services board member and spread lies publicly. It's very hurtful to certainly the chief, but certainly to my members that go out there daily and try to catch these people day in, day out. And again, on social media today, you can see another group of officers that were trying to take down carjackers, successful in arresting a boatload of people, more charges coming out of that. And it's really important, I think, that we have the true numbers that are out there publicly, and just keep in mind that our officers are doing a phenomenal job day in, day out, and not just, the chief and how well we're doing here being leaders, but the grassroots people that are right there on the front line. So I just really want to double down on making sure that people understand how great Greg O'Connor and his team and even just frontline officers are doing out there, and how important it is for them to have that love, shown back at them from political people like Mayor Parrish, and it's unfortunate that she doesn't share that view as everyone else does and Mayor Brown does. So just want to come down and double down on that. And as far as yesterday's incident, all of our officers, I can tell you, are doing the best that they possibly can with the situation that they're under. And they very much appreciate the support that they've gotten, not only from obviously the service, but also from the Police Services Board. Many messages came from all of you, and they truly do appreciate that. I mean, this is a horrific situation for them to be thrust into, but they all conduct themselves in an unbelievably professional manner, and just know that they are very appreciative, very, very appreciative of the love that they've been shown, that they've had to go through with this ordeal. So that's all.
Thank you. I wanted to also add with regards to that, I appreciate Adrian and the chief did as well. I would be remiss if, we're quick to criticize and write a terse letter and criticize this level of government or our friends at the ports or whatever. But when they've worked well with us and they've helped, we have to acknowledge that as well. And so I'm glad that as part of this, we're reaching out and saying thank you to our partners that have stepped up, because the success is all of our. Boy, when it started, it's just like we were against the world, and how can people not see this as a problem? And the analogy that I use, this is the part of it I've never understood. This pen came to me from my office. Technically, if I put it in my jacket and walk out, I've technically stolen the pen. But you can say, well, it's kind of easy, you forgot, you concealed it. I don't know how you take 2 tons of steel outside the country and nobody notices. That's the part that I've never, that can happen. Somebody's got something in their luggage, they get on a plane, that again. 2 tons of steel and thousands of units of them. Sorry, I can't track that down. I mean, it was embarrassing. So come on, with our best efforts, we can do better. And we've done better. So with thanks to our provincial friends, our federal friends, our friends in the ports, and my biggest shout out goes to Mayor Brown, who was at the vanguard of this and took the trips to Ottawa on behalf of the board and told people, paraphrasing some of what we can do better. Like, come on. And it is serious. And the last point, and it wasn't up, but it always comes up. And it's not, well, it's just a car. You'll get your car back or it's insured. This affects people's lives. It traumatizes them. And then the car becomes an incident where they break down the door and people are shot, people are killed, leads to other crime. That was the other disconcerting part. But it's a car and it's paid for. What's the big deal? You've got insurance. It's so much more than that. So thanks to everybody involved in our successes that we had to get their attention and they've responded. I've got also Mr. Boughton again on the matter, please.
Thank you. And through you, Chair, Mr. Woolley, who's a rock star now, he even got mentioned on the leaders debate by Pierre Poilievre about the support that for his campaign. But, you know, your voice and the other one, and the chair has already said it, is Mayor Brown. The two of you have done a great job supporting the service and letting the public know what the issues are on the auto theft, and that continued support really means the world, I think, to the service. It sure does to us as a board. Like, we hear you, and we're so appreciative of the strong position that you take on behalf of your members. And again, Patrick Brown has done an incredible job on it. And what the chair had said, I haven't found a single person who isn't affected by a car theft. You go to any party, any dinner, anywhere, a grocery store, everybody knows somebody, whether it be in their family, a neighbor, a friend, who hasn't been affected by a car theft. And what the world doesn't really fully understand, we all pay for it as individuals on our insurance. You know, we get a tax bill increase because we're putting a bunch of new officers on, and everybody's up in arms that you get a tax increase. But that insurance bill comes in like clockwork every year. People will pay every month. It's in this region, it's $500 plus a year every single individual pays on every car that they're insuring. That's a tax. It's a tax. And if people really took the time to see that and said, if we stopped auto theft, what a savings it would be. It would far outweigh what the additional costs will be on taxes in Peel Region for the new officers we're putting on the road. And that's a significant number. And I know, President Woolley, you get it. I thank you for your support on behalf of the board and that you're always there, and your comments are always well received. So thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Adrian, thank you. Chief, back to you if there was anything else in the way of an update on your part.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you, President Woolley, for your time again, as always. Chair, we have an update from Deputy DePatt and then Acting Deputy Hiltz. So, please. Mark, Project 300, I believe.
Thank you, Chief. And through you, Chair, good morning, Board. I've made a commitment to all of you, being the lead for Project 300, to let you know at every board meeting now that progress is going really well. We've sent 80 to the Ontario Police College, as you already know. The next police OPC intake will be starting at the end of May, and we're already at 52 conditional offers. So we're already well ahead. And I really got to commend the team that is in there with the recruiting bureau right now and the training, because there's never been a more monumental task in recruiting than this project here, and they've really come together. What they're actually doing is filtering quite a few applications, because there's been so much talk about what we're doing here in Peel Regional Police, and I'm happy to say that we're moving full steam ahead.
Thank you, Mark. And Acting Deputy Hiltz on behalf of Mark Andrews.
Thank you, Chief.
We got the better looking version today.
Thank you, Chief. And through you, Chair, I just wanted to take the opportunity to share with the board an update from the Peel Regional Police Road Safety Services, our proactive initiative to oversee the tow truck drivers operating in the region of Peel. Just some history to show us where we're at today. In 2021, the province of Ontario passed the Towing and Storage Safety Enforcement Act, along with amendments to the Highway Traffic Act. The new law was implemented in 3 phases. In January 2023, we increased the commercial vehicle operations registration requirements for tow trucks. Phase 2 in July 2023, we transitioned the licensing of tow trucks over to the province. In January 2024, we included customer protection standards. With the municipality oversight ending, Peel Regional Police Road Safety Services took a proactive initiative to oversee the tow truck operations in the region. This initiative started with education, both for the tow truck operators and our own officers, on the new legislation, and followed with enforcement, which in form of monthly blitzes. These monthly blitzes were performed by members of the Road Safety Services and our divisional personnel from each operational division. Officers are deployed into the community to seek out and provide education and enforcement to tow truck operators. Road Safety Services further targeted aggressive driving behavior, which is often observed as tow truck operators respond to accidents and incidences trying to be first on scene for monetary gain. Most recently, violence has been observed in the tow truck industry, largely attributed to the growing territorial disputes, which has led to the increase of incidences of imitation, extortion, threats, and acts of violence. Our divisional criminal investigation bureaus, with the support of intelligence services and our road safety services teams, are actively investigating those incidences. This current trend is not unique to our region alone, and PRP is actively a partner in a collective provincial tow enforcement strategy led by the OPP. Just to share some of the results of our enforcement to date in in 2025, we've laid over 275 provincial offense notices. We've investigated over 150 tow trucks. We've attended over 30 tow accidents where tow trucks are present, and we've put over 100 hours of blitzes. I am proud to announce that Peel Regional Police Road Safety Services will be the agency and the lead agency for this year's Erase campaign. Limiting racing activity on the streets everywhere, Erase program was established in 1999 to provide targeted enforcement and education to address illegal street racing in the Greater Toronto Area. Project Erase is a strategic enforcement initiative to eliminate dangerous driving behavior on the streets and to keep our community safe. It is a joint force project that includes York Regional Police, Toronto Police Service, Ontario Provincial Police, and the Peel Regional Police. Just to let you know that Project Erase launch date takes place May 5th at the City of Mississauga at Celebration Square. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chief, again, back over to you. Anything further?
No, that's fantastic. Thank you, Hubie. And as you know, the tow truck issue is not just a Peel related issue. We've been working very hardly with our OPP Commissioner, Toronto, York, Durham. And so thank you, Hubie, for highlighting our efforts to try to suppress it, at least in our region. With that, sir, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. And with that, I come down to board member questions and announcements. Perhaps I can start with one. I was remiss. I note Ward 2 Councillor Dave Sheen's here from Caledon. Dave, good to see you. You could otherwise be working on constituency work, but you're here today. But I'm not surprised. I know you spent decades in the youth justice system, and I know you were a part-time counselor with regards to youth calling in for counseling, and really care about your community. And here you are demonstrating it again. So wonderful to have you here, and thank you for taking the time. Other announcements. I have Vice Chair Coley, please.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Just a couple of updates. One is wishing everyone a happy Sikh Heritage Month, and also happy Vaisakhi. I know it's maybe a week later, but it's still the month of celebration. And also, I was able to attend this past month because we've missed March board meeting, so I just thought I'll mention a couple of things. So I was able to attend the Polar Plunge, and I just want to congratulate Peel Police and the Association Adrian Woolley. What a phenomenal job. That was my first being involved, present, seeing it from A to Z. The athletes, their faces, I believe 205,000 was collected that day, and I have a feeling probably even more will continue to do. But it's such a commendable thing that you all do, and seeing the smiles on those athletes' faces. And yes, I did jump, and I think I'm still blacked out from that job. But I'm just very proud of you, and it was a phenomenal event and a beautiful new facility. So congratulations on that, and also congratulations to the Women's ISN on a fantastic International Women's Day. They just continue to make them each year more inspirational, more aspirational. And I'm just so proud of that organization for the work that they're putting in. We have a lot of initiatives coming up, 30 by 30, so many others, but just proud to see that you're always trying to make sure it's on the forefront and you're really giving content that makes sense and elevates to the next level. So thank you for that to that organization. And of course, Deputy, I know it's under your leadership. So thank you, Nick Milanovich, as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Other announcements, Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Chair Nika. An issue that I wanted to bring up today, and I have a motion that is drafted that Rob Serpe can put on the screen or read into the minutes, is in regards to the number of cases that are being thrown out. I'm a big believer that we all need to make sure that every aspect of public safety is addressed. And I believe there's an area that hasn't got enough attention. There's been some media coverage on it, but the fact that we are seeing great police work result in cases never seen um, a resolution is justice denied, and the lack of judges, crowns, the onerous disclosure requirements, and the Jordan principle is meaning there are serious crimes that simply are thrown out, and I'm concerned about this. We have a motion drafted. I know we were briefed on this as a board by our management team previously, but I think we need some advocacy on this. And I can tell you, I raised this with the mayor of St. Catharines at the last big city mayor's meeting. We passed a motion unanimously to this effect. And I think we need to get the ear of the Attorney General and the Solicitor General on this to increase our capacity. I'm not sure if any of the deputies or the chief want to comment on this, but I believe this would be very helpful if we could get additional crowns, additional judges, and if we embrace new technology for disclosure. Frankly, if the Ministry of the Attorney General could just borrow Deputy Chief Adwari for a month, I'm sure he could solve it instantly with how technology can make this a lot less cumbersome. But if I could ask Rob to read the motion or put it on the screen, and I think this advocacy is important.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, and I'd be happy to lend Deputy O'Doherty for any period of time away from the team, but he'd be happy to comment on this. This obviously has our full support as well.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Brown, and through the chair, just a couple comments. In speaking with head Crown here in Peel Region She, Daryl and Allison, who has worked collaboratively and very closely, and I will say is one of the most progressive Crown attorneys in the province in terms of adopting technology to overcome the issues that we have with disclosure is very important in addressing the situation of disclosure and on-time disclosure. The confluence of legislation, local justice rules in terms of initial disclosure, staffing, and what I call a tsunami of data that has reached our capacity to be able to process in this day and age is just really a perfect storm that requires an intense implementation of technology and staffing. And so on our end, we are now able to see some of the benefits of the disclosure, but what that does cause is this massive amount of data that is now turned over, Mayor Brown, as you correctly put, over to the justice sector side, which is partly out of our control and requires addressing from staffing on that end. So hopefully that provides a little bit of clarity.
Thank you. And I guess we'll put that up at the appropriate time. Can we deal with it right now? The only thing that I would add is, again, kudos to the mayor. What is concerning, you mentioned the Jordan principle, and now it's almost becoming part of your jurisprudence, and people are defaulting to it. I'm not going to tell a long-winded story, but this is one of my, it's a blessing and a curse to read as much as I do and follow media around the world. But one of my concerns is, and Chief, you've touched upon this in a different way, we're at the precipice of that. You have to believe in law and order, and if you're not careful, you'll go down a slippery slope. Absolutely true story of how bad this can get in other jurisdictions, and it is in Italy. And I'm going to tell you a great little story about if it goes the wrong way, where you end up. In Italy, they have something called, in their vernacular, la legge di 50%, the law of 50%. And what it is this, and I will give you a family member's experience, not my immediate family. Went back to the old house in the village that they've maintained, paid for. It's like their vacation home. They go, and there's squatters in the home. Not uncommon. The police show up because the gentleman calls, this is my house. I've just come back from, throw these bums out. What are they doing in my home? And for whatever reason, the squatters had paperwork that substantiated to some degree that it was their house. Okay, so the cops say, we don't know what to tell you. They've got the paperwork, etc. So the police officer is advised, and maybe you're new to this, but under la legge de 50, under the euphemistic law of 50%, we can tell you how this is going to go. It's going to take about 10 years in civil courts to get your house back. It's going to cost about $500,000. Under the law of 50%, which is sort of street justice, why don't you just give them half, get the house back now, and you save the 10 years and half the money? That is day-to-day life in parts of Italy. And if you ever tell the story to a member of an Italian family, they go, yeah, Nando, the situation with our vineyard here, and that's when all is lost. When your society, and by the way, the officers, and they're not responsible for the justice, you can't blame the officer, they're just telling you this is how it goes, because the courts are clogged and there's this, and you're going to win. There will be justice, and there will be. It just might take 10 years. You've lost 10 years of your life. You paid the lawyers $500,000. It's almost a practical business solution to say, give them half, and they're trying to give you honest advice. Your society is lost. A dramatic example, but when it gets to the point that we default to say, well, I know it's going to go on, and we try, and 18, we won't be before a judge. Why are we even doing this? You've given up. We can't. So I hate to use that illustration, but true life of what can happen if we're not vigilant when you need to be, and this, I think, calls for that. I'm going to use the other example I gave earlier, though. I know there have been a lot of efforts in regard to this file, and yet it persists. So with thanks for the efforts that have come from other levels of government, we have to double down. So Mayor Brown, quite rightly, and well done. So supporting you fully on this. Rob, over to you. If we've got them, I don't see the motion on the screen, but you go ahead, please.
The motion for board consideration is that the Peel Police Service Board advocate to the Ontario Government, the Solicitor General, and the Ministry of the Attorney General to increase judicial and court resources, including the appointment of additional judges, Crown attorneys, and court staff, to review disclosure timelines to better balance the principles of R.V. Jordan with the realities of complex investigations, and to invest in technology-driven solutions to improve disclosure processes and strengthen the overall capacity of Ontario's justice system.
Thank you. And that is moved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Mr. Carby. I have speakers. Al, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, just briefly, thank you, through you, Chair. And I forget who, if it was in this group or somebody told me, and I think maybe everybody should know, but I understand that of the charges that are laid within Peel Region, that the numbers that actually go to trial of these charges is something like 3%. And that's disturbing. And to your point, Chair, we need to do better. And by not going to trial, not going through the process, we're letting down the service by not doing it. So I think it's a great motion, obviously supported 100%. Thank you for that, Mayor Brown.
You have the motion before you. Any other speakers? Anybody opposed? That carries unanimously. Patrick, thank you once again. Okay, one last call for members. Any other questions or announcements? Seeing none, I go to the approval of the minutes of our last meeting as moved by Vice Chair Samita Kohli, seconded by Al Boughton. Any revisions, additions, deletions? Seeing none, that carries unanimously as well. No deputation. Our first presentation, item 3, is Youth Engagement Strategy. Presentation from Inspector Fowler and Superintendent Ishmael. If you gentlemen could come forward at this time for your presentation. I know that it's here to be received. And maybe you can introduce the team that's coming forward.
Yeah, thank you,
Chief.
Chair. I'm going to invite Deputy DePat to introduce our guests.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And through you, Chair, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce three fantastic people in front of you that are going to give you an overview of the youth engagement strategy that we launched back on March 21st. Those that are watching and the board might be asking, why would we develop a youth engagement strategy when so many already know that the police are interacting with youth on a regular basis? We've been doing it for years. It was important to develop a strategy because you can shape the outcomes of what that strategy looks like. We learned the hard way many years ago that working with youth without working with partners, without working with youth directly, set us up for failure. And what we did here at Peel Regional Police is put together a very dedicated team of community partners and youth to help inform what the strategy is going to look like. The team is going to go over it right now, but I'm just going to do a brief introduction because it's so important that we do it. So newly promoted Inspector Elaine Fowler is a member of our community safety and well-being team. She has been the lead of this project since the very beginning, supported by Superintendent Ishmael. She's going to be joining the recruiting bureau next week, so she's going to be impactful for Project 300. Miss Kelly Henderson is the executive director of Associated Youth Services of Peel. AYSP is a social service organization serving young people and their families within the youth justice and children's mental health systems. Kelly and AYSP are invaluable allies of our youth engagement team and have been crucial partners in transforming the lives of youth in Peel. Last but not least, Mr. Emmanuel Shine is joining us this morning. He's a grade 12 student from St. Joseph's Secondary School in Mississauga. He plans on attending Wilfrid Laurier University next year. Emmanuel has been a consistent participant in youth programs offered by Peel Police and is joining the team to share his remarkable story. He also loves Jordan 1 sneakers, which is the version of Air Jordans that I love the most, so we get along really, really well. He's got a phenomenal story. And I'll turn it over to the team to talk to you about the youth engagement strategy. Thank you.
Welcome. Please proceed.
Sorry. Good morning through the chair, and thank you for this opportunity to speak today. It is my pleasure to be here to share the youth engagement strategy of Peel Regional Police. We understand the importance of building trust with our young people, and this strategy is about empowering our youth to have that voice for safety and well-being within their communities. To shape this strategy, we had commissioned an external company called Pages for Good Health, where they had conducted surveys and focus groups to provide us with the community's perspective on youth safety and police interaction. Through those surveys, we connected with youth between the ages of 15 and 24, parents of school-aged children 6 years and older, community leaders who work directly with the youth, and our Peel Regional Police members. So the feedback that we received was invaluable. It had provided the structure and how we developed the youth engagement strategy. The youth engagement strategy is framed around the community safety and well-being framework, which is based on our 4 pillars, which is social development, prevention, risk intervention, and incident response. There are a number of intended deliverables that fall underneath each pillar, such as the implementation of our first Youth Citizens Academy and developing deeper partnerships with organizations such as Peel Children's Aid Society to better support who are out of care or considered high risk, and to evaluate our crisis response and the opportunities to best serve the needs of the youth that are experiencing mental health crisis. So to ensure that we are accountable and we adhere to our vision, nothing for youth without youth, we had established a community of practice working group. So this group is built and established with community leaders within our region. And they have been instrumental in developing, guiding, and implementing this strategy. And going forward, we are going to continue to work in collaboration to make sure that we meet the needs of our youth in our community. So I just want to take a moment to recognize and thank Miss Sonia Mazina, who is here in the court, is here. And she works at St. Joe's Catholic School, the Children's Youth Partitioner, and she is here to support Mr. Emmanuel Shine. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Miss Kelly Henderson from AYSP, and she's a valued member of our community of practice.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, members of the board, and Chief. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm from Associated Youth Services of Peel, and we're an organization who's long enjoyed a positive working relationship with Peel Regional Police, particularly through our youth diversion program. I also have the privilege of serving as a member of the Youth Engagement Strategies Community of Practice, a network of organizations and individuals who believe deeply in building meaningful and lasting change for youth in our region. In this regard, I want to commend Peel Regional Police for their work on the youth engagement strategy. It represents a purposeful step forward in building stronger relationships with youth. This strategy really does reflect a change, representing a collaborative reimagining of how we engage with young people, especially those facing systemic barriers. A shift from viewing youth as problems to be solved to recognizing them as partners in the solution, and is an opportunity to build meaningful and lasting relationships with law enforcement. As community organizations, we recognize that true youth engagement goes beyond outreach. It requires building trust, amplifying youth voices, and ensuring that all of our systems, policing included, are responsive, respectful, and accountable. The strategy speaks to this, and it aligns with what we in the community of practice endorse: a shared commitment to equity, trauma-informed practices, and restorative approaches that center youth's personal lived experiences. The actions born out of the strategy will help to build trust and prevent harm before it happens, through mentorship, collaboration, and consideration. Because providing young people with opportunities to be heard, to lead, and to grow in confidence and civic responsibility allows our community to move toward prevention and empowerment rather than reaction. As community partners, we're not only ready, but we're eager to walk alongside Peel Regional Police on this journey. We're committed to sharing knowledge, co-developing solutions, and helping to evaluate progress with the voices of youth front and center. That said, this work will take time and must be guided by consistent accountability, transparency, and measurable outcomes. There's a commitment from service partners to work collaboratively to hold this strategy to its highest potential and ensure it remains rooted in community voices. Together, we have an opportunity to build a safer, healthier, and more inclusive Peel for our young people, where youth engagement is not just a strategy, but a standard. Thank you. Over to you.
Good morning. My name is Emmanuel Shine, and it is an honor to be in front of you guys today. I'm truly grateful that you've given me this opportunity to share my story with the distinguished members of the Peel Police and our community partners. Your commitment to service and the impact you made in the lives of so many, including my own, cannot be expressed in mere words. I first connected with the Peel Police youth engagement team about 2 years ago at a very difficult point in my life. A month after I turned 16, I was forced to leave my home. I spent many nights couch surfing with buddies and living in shelters like Our Place Peel, which happens to be one of our community partners. But none of these places felt like home. During this extremely low point in my life, I got involved with the wrong crowd. They acted as a substitute for the family that I didn't have, and survival meant making choices I wasn't proud of. I learned early in life that morality was a privilege that I couldn't afford. I found myself going deeper and deeper into a life of crime, and it took a miracle to get me out. I'm thankful God put people in my life who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And it is because of these adults, their patience, their wisdom, and their belief in me that I stand here today. At that time, even the simplest life goals felt out of reach. While all my friends were getting their G1s and driving around, I was worrying about what I would eat the next day. Fortunately, Children's Aid connected me with the Peel Police program that allowed me to earn my G1's driver's license. It was a 6-week program hosted by the Peel Police and the Children's Breakfast Club that paid for my driver's license and provided much-needed mentorship along the way. This was a pivotal moment in my journey towards independence. But it wasn't just a program for me to get my G1. It wasn't just a program for me to get identification. These officers went above and beyond. They checked in on me regularly, even after the program was over. Not because they were obligated to, because they genuinely cared. They took me under their wing and they supported me. And those small acts of kindness paid huge dividends. With their guidance, I not only earned my G1, but also took an important step towards achieving my independence. A couple months later, the youth engagement team offered me another opportunity to get my G2. This was another program hosted by the Peel Police and CAA, where I received mentorship and an opportunity to receive in-class and driving lessons through a local driving school. I again completed the class and became a fully licensed G2 driver. I remained in contact with the officers I met along the way and attended other programs by the Peel Police and the Youth Engagement Strategy, including a trade conference, which opened doors that I didn't know existed, like plumbing, carpentry, and welding. These opportunities and programs with the Peel Police have made me comfortable in dealing with them and interacting with them, when in the past I was heavily reluctant to do so. I'm a proud ambassador of the Peel Police and their community partners, and I proudly talk about my experiences with them, and I constantly encourage my peers to view them in a positive light. Statistically, I shouldn't be here. I grew up homeless, bounced between shelters, and lived in bad neighborhoods my whole life. But because of the incredible people who took a chance on me, I'm now on track to graduate high school with a 4.0 GPA. This fall, I'll be attending Wilfrid Laurier to pursue a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. And this summer, if everything goes well, I will also be joining the Canadian Reserves because of an officer I met on the Peel Police who encouraged me to apply, who told me about all the great things that it offered. I am proud to be a Canadian, and it is my honest pleasure to serve the community that has given me so much. And I owe a huge thank you to everyone who's been along with me this whole journey, especially Ms. Messina, who's with me today. As my child's school child and youth worker, she did more than her job required. She showed up for me in ways that truly mattered. Even though her business hours were from 9 to 5, I knew that I could call whenever and she'd pick up. Too often, systems fall short, but people don't. And Ms. Messina is proof of that, along with every other officer that I've met. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge everyone else that I met along the way. There's too many to count. They've offered me guidance, encouragement, and a sense of belonging when I needed it the most. They stepped in to take the place of the family that I never had, and just like Ms. Messina and the officers, provided the love, wisdom, and care that shaped me into the man I am today. In conclusion, I would like this to be a testament to human resilience and love. Life isn't about the cards you're dealt, but about how you play them. And to all the officers and partners here, I want to tell you that your work matters. Even in the smallest things, you guys make a huge impact. You might not always see the impact, but know that your dedication changes lives in ways that you can never realize. And I should know I'm one of those lives that you've changed, and for that, I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
Some comments if you stay in place. First, I've got Vice Chair Coley.
Firstly, Emmanuel, I was so happy to hear you were going to be here today again because I was at the launch. I got to hear you that then. I do have my Kleenex box. It was ready. But you are just an example of what, just even one interaction can change. I want to congratulate Chief Nish, Mark DePat, Deputy DePat, and the entire organization and all partners because this is just another example of things that Peel Police continues to do where, I know, Chief, I heard you this when I first joined the board, but you said, not everything, people will question, why is the police involved in this strategy? But what you continue to say is we're trying to change the system so that we don't have to meet these individuals in certain settings. But if we can catch them early enough and support them and give them all the guidance, then we can redirect lives. And this is just another example of partner organizations who've stepped up with Peel Police and the difference that it's making. And we can't say thank you enough for being vulnerable enough to share your story, because I know that's not easy to put yourself out there like that. But I'm hoping more and more kids get to hear you and the interactions get better as they see them as opportunities. Because listen, at the end of the day, we're all given opportunities. it's the choice we make to walk through the door, right? And that's what you did. And look at where you've come. So I hope you get many more platforms to continue to share the story. I hope we can support that as well. But more, and Ms. Messina, you're just another example of people that are working within the system who are going above and beyond to help kids. You know, we always see an overburdened system, but what we don't see is kind of the little angels and the people that are trying to step up and do everything they can, and you're just exactly that. So congratulations. I wish you all the best, young man, and hopefully you'll be doing a lot more great things, and we'll interact you in those as well. But just, I'm just so proud of this strategy, and I hope the community also gets involved in it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too had the pleasure of meeting Emmanuel at the launch of the strategy, and was so impressed, not just by his presentation, but his story and his willingness to share that story to inspire others. And I just want to say congratulations on, one, your willingness to share, but also on your journey. I think exciting things are ahead as you start your next journey into tertiary education. So our Vice Chair has done an admirable job of sharing our feedback, so I won't, repeat all that she has said, but I'll just add that although this strategy reads Peel Police Youth Engagement Strategy, I think it's more of a community youth engagement strategy, because as you look at the community of practice, all the partners who are there, I think it's more a community response being supported by Peel Police, and it's great that, the service is front and center of this, because again, this is really what we have to do in our community, and this just demonstrates the kind of upstream engagement that is needed more and more by our service, so that the later interactions that we have with individuals are more positive ones as we lean into supporting them even at a younger age as young people. So kudos to the this initiative, and thank you again, Emmanuel, and all those who have come to support. We're just so proud of what we're doing here in regards to our engagement with our young people. Thank you.
If I could add to that, well said by everyone. Emmanuel, I look at you, and it'd be very easy to give the narrative, because it's a simple one, that you're the lump of coal that became a diamond. Because of course, coal becomes diamond. It just takes millennia and pressure. But that would be a mistake, because you were never coal that became a diamond. You were always a diamond in the rough. You were always a diamond in the rough. You didn't just suddenly become articulate and intelligent, because you are very articulate and intelligent. It's just somewhere along the way, there was a fork in the road, wrong people, wrong circumstance, wrong choices that others may have imposed upon you. I tell the story, I'm a very blessed man, because the first thing I did was I chose my parents well. Joke. And yet many people want to take credit for having chosen their parents well. I was just lucky. And whatever that circumstance did that brought you to where you were, it's the gods and divine intervention, and there but for the grace of God. But you were always, you couldn't have become the person you are in 2 years. You were always that person. And it was just a little help and a little guidance, and I'm glad you acknowledged them. But inherently, you were the diamond. Be very clear on that. So I wish you every success, and when you get to Laurier, if you come across somebody with this name, it's my nephew who's going to be going there with you for business, and you tell him the police commissioner is a friend of yours.
I will.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. A receipt moved by Vice Chair Coley and Mr. Carby. Thank you very much for this marvelous initiative. And another round of applause. Okay, that takes us on to new business under consent. Those are items 4 to 6 can be approved by one motion. The following reports are considered routine or have been considered and discussed by committees of the board and have been forwarded to the board for information. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a member, at which point the items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the normal sequence of agenda events under business. So what I have before me is consent items 4 through 6 for the annual procurement activity report, 5 operating capital reserve, 3rd triannual financial report, 6 external funding assistance. Do any of the members wish these held? Seeing none, they've been moved by Mr. Khan and Mr. Boughton. All those in favor, that is carried. Thank you. That brings us on to other business. Item 7, 2025 Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Plan, report dated October 11, 2025. We have a recommendation. Chief, did anybody wish to speak to this before I put it to the board? To Mr. Serpa, Executive Director. Rob.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. The board is required under Section 37, subsection 1E of the Community Safety and Policing Act to develop a diversity plan. But I think I just wanted to speak just a little bit about this because as this board often does, we went above and beyond. The legal requirement was never simply a box that we can check. What we did was we worked very closely with Peel Regional Police's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion team to ensure our diversity plan aligns with the plan already in place at Peel Regional Police to ensure that we're promoting equity, diversity, and inclusion within Peel Regional Police and, in our case, for the board's oversight of policing in one of Canada's most diverse communities. At this time, I really just want to thank the board and particularly the Governance and Human Rights Committee for their leadership on this. I think as an organization, this has been a long time coming and work that's been going on for many years, which began with the equity audit by CCDI, the MOU with the OHRC, and of course the establishment of the board's Governance and Human Rights Committee, subsequent community consultations we've held since then. And the board will continue, the committee will continue with these consultations to ensure that the voice of the community plays a role in the evolution of this plan, which will be a living document. So again, thank you to the board and the committee and to the PRP EDI team. Once approved by the committee, the plan will be made public as required, and a communication will go out as well to promote the plan.
Thank you. If I have nothing further, it's moved by Vice Chair Coley, seconded by Mayor Brown. All those in favor, here for receipt. Thank you. That carries. Item 6, Police Pursuits 2024 Year-End Review. Through to the team, any update or comments on that? Chief, anything with regards to that? With regards to item 8, Police Pursuits, the 2024 Year-End Review. Did anybody wish to speak to that from our end?
Just the report is there for information only. We normally do report. Obviously, the numbers fluctuate from year to year. We do have a provincial regulatory framework for it, which we measure against. And as a result, some which are outliers that are non-compliant with policy, we remediate through training and obviously our internal processes. But if there's any general commentary from our council, Sharon Wilmot, perhaps I'll invite her to.
Yeah, I think just an important takeaway is that on all of these, we have a directive that reflects the legislative responsibilities on every single one of these pursuit investigations. There's a follow-up with the officer to go over compliance or non-compliance, the importance of the directives, and it's sort of treated as a remedial good opportunity to remind officers of the background legislation and requirements under the directives.
Perhaps, Chair, the only thing I can highlight is that all of these are as a result of somebody's activity, whether it's impaired driving, a stolen vehicle, and the risk, and we've seen one in other municipalities where the vehicle pursuit sometimes puts the public at jeopardy too. And so I just want to highlight the Premier and the province's investment in air support is one which we hope will mitigate a lot of the issues that we see, and it's proven successful in many other regards. So, let's see what the next year or two looks like when that program comes into place.
Thank you. Thank you for the backstory on that as well. Receipt has been moved by Mr. Boughton, seconded by Mr. Carby. Any opposed? That carries. And finally, item 9, Records Management System Niche RMS Contract Renewal. Any comments from the staff? Through to the deputy.
Thank you, and through the chair, this is our largest data infrastructure in the organization. It's probably one of the largest in the province. I have Superintendent Heather Raymore here, who's leading a complete overhaul of the system to modernize the technology we have for the benefit of our officers, benefit of the community, and to be able to just overall modernize the critical data infrastructure. That will require another 12-month contract assessment. And as you see in the report, it is requesting that the CAO, Lauren Jackson, be permitted to extend this. We've been using the product for 20 years and don't see an end to using this product right now. Thanks.
Thank you. If there are no questions, the only other comment I would make, and Al's mentioned this before as well, I wear a lot of hats. One of them is also chair of the Board of Health, and we are making huge investments in new technologies to deal with the coming challenge of an aging baby boomer population. And as my colleagues around the table know, I often speak to, when do we get the technology dividend? Because we're spending hundreds of millions, quite rightly, and I go, when do I see it come back in dividends? And no agency that I deal with has delivered more than the police, especially lately, because we've made some really big investments on technology, and we are starting to see some huge dividends. Top of the list, call response. So well done, and carry on. Moved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Mr. Khan. All those in favor? That is carried. With that, I have a motion from Vice Chair Coley and Mr. Boughton to adjourn this public session, and we will now move in camera. All those in favor? That is carried. So I will thank those of you in attendance and not have to ask those not involved in the in-camera to kindly make your way so that we can carry on with the meeting. Why don't I give everybody 5 minutes, and we will start promptly at 11:10. Thank you all.